How's it going, folks? Welcome back to another video, another SMMA video. In this one, we're talking about how to grow your agency like a pro as opposed to growing it like a noob. These are the lessons I wish I knew when I started scaling my agency 3 years ago now, and I want to kind of put together what exactly a noob would do, the mindset of a noob, and then contrast that with the pro mindset that you should have when you're starting your agency. What I'm going to share today is exactly what I would share with you if we were on a one-on-one call, and I promise to make this as valuable as possible for you. So thanks so much for hanging around. If you do like it, make sure to leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought and what other video you'd like me to make next. All right, now let's get started. I'm super excited for this video. There are 5 different things you need to know about growing an agency and 5 things you need to get right. The first thing you need to get right is your mindset. So we'll talk about that first. Secondly, you need to get your business foundations right, which we'll talk about next. Then you need to learn how to market yourself. And then you need to learn how to do sales and onboarding. And lastly, you need to learn how to market for clients. Or another word for that is just fulfillment, actually delivering the promised service and result of your marketing. So with that roadmap, let's go back to the very beginning and talk about mindset, which is the most important part of what we're discussing today. I really can't stress how important this is. So when it comes to mindset, one thing a noob would do is think that they know everything they need to know to start their agency without getting any coaching. And in contrast to that, the pro knows that they need mentorship in order to scale their agency if they want to go at any pace that's faster than a tortoise. So a quick story to illustrate this is when I started my agency back in January of 2019, I thought I knew everything about how to start, and I reached out to my immediate network and immediately got 2 clients that I started working for free for. And for 2.5 months, I did like literally everything under the sun for these people. I helped them register their business. I helped them set up their Shopify store. I just spent way too much time doing so many random things for them. And then when it came to actually run ads for these people who hadn't even set up their businesses yet, I was too scared because I didn't feel like I could actually run ads for somebody when I didn't have much experience in the e-commerce realm, which both of these clients were in. The only experience I had was in the local business realm. So what I ended up doing is, firing myself from both of those clients and then trying to find a mentor, someone that I could just ask questions to. I had watched too many YouTube videos, talked to too many people for free, taken people out to lunch, and nothing had landed. I had never really gotten to the point where I felt like I understood what to do. And so I paid $1,300 for a coach, Trey Cockrum. It was incredible, best investment I ever made. And within 1 hour, I knew exactly what to do. And within 3 coaching sessions with him, I had my first client and I was actually getting some traction going forward. Alex Hormozy recently released a YouTube short / TikTok about how you should spend almost all of your money paying down the time tax of ignorance. What does that mean? The time tax of ignorance just means that you are going to spend so much time beating your head against the wall, failing until you shell out some cash and start buying knowledge so that you can move a little bit faster. It's 100% worth it. The noob does not understand that, the pro does. Now let's talk about mindset in a different light with that noob and pro juxtaposition again. Noobs are scared of failing. Pros see failure as feedback and learn how to fail well. So after I hired the coach that helped me start my agency, I was about 5 or 6 months in when someone that I had hired, a contractor that was doing some work on a client account, made multiple mistakes on that person's account, and they just said, "Hey, I don't think we can work together anymore." And I said, "I think you're absolutely right. I'm so sorry about all this that had happened." And I refunded him his last month's payment. Now, this is the first client that I ever lost in my agency. And you could see me as a relatively new business owner 5 months in, just really getting down in the dumps and mad at myself for what happened and wallowing in self-pity. But that's not what I did. Instead, I just took that opportunity and said, "Hey, this person made a mistake. I'm gonna talk to them about not making that mistake again, and I'm gonna put some processes in place to make sure that it doesn't happen again." And guess what? We're a lot better at getting those problems now before the client ever sees them and making sure that we're proactively serving our clients and keeping them on board because of the experience of losing one. One of my mentors, Nick Robbins, always says you need to seek feedback. You need to seek problems, because problems are what make you money. If you can solve problems, if you can solve painful problems, people will pay you a lot of money to do so. So you need to seek these as much as possible. And as you keep failing, keep learning, and then you'll level up as you keep going. The noobs see failure as an end. The pros see failures as a beginning of something new and better that they can create in their business. All right, now let's move on to our second section, which is business foundations. Guys, the noobs only see the money signs getting flashed to them. They see the Lambos, they see the nice watches, they see the lifestyle that a social media marketing agency can provide them, because that's what's flashed on social media. The pros, on the other hand, see the opportunity that a social media marketing agency would provide them to grow a sustainable business long-term and actually have a good career working for themselves. The reason this one is so damaging for the noob is because when all you care about is, oh, I just want to get to 10K a month. Oh, I just want to, make $20,000 a month. All I want to do is buy this nice watch, or all I want to do is drive a nice car. Then you're not focused on the thing that actually gets you there. You cannot focus on the Lamborghini to get the Lamborghini. You have to focus on serving people, getting the business, getting the money in, and then because of the person that you've become, because of the value that you've created in the marketplace, you have enough money to then buy what you want. When all you're focused on is money, ironically, that's not what you'll get. When you're focused on service and value and providing way more value than what you're charging, then you're going to find it very easy to get money. And on this same vein, guys, the noob is going to focus on 15 different things when it comes to starting their online business. They're going to be running an SMMA as well as a drop shipping store. They're going to be posting about how much money they're making, even though they're not making any money. And they're going to be, having a YouTube channel and trading crypto and all this stuff, instead of just actually focusing on the one thing that's going to make them money, which is starting a social media marketing agency. And this is where the pro is. They focus on one business model, first of all, and then they focus on one niche and one service in that business model. I have a friend that owns a $300,000 per month marketing agency, and the way he said he got there was focusing on one niche, one prospecting method, and one service delivery method, and that's how he scaled up. Simplicity scales, complexity does not. So when you're focused on the money and the fame and the clout and all that stuff, it's just a distraction from actually building a good business which can scale, because it's simple. Awesome. So now that we've got the mindset and some of those business foundations out of the way, now let's get down to the nitty-gritty about how you actually market yourself to clients and how you fulfill on those clients and sell them and onboard them, all that good stuff. So first of all, let's talk about marketing yourself. The first mistake that the noobs make in this realm is that they think that you have to charge $2,000 per month per client, and you can't go any lower than that because you need to know your value. This is the biggest BS I've ever heard, especially as a beginner. If you have no experience, you don't know what the heck you're doing, why are you charging as much as somebody who's been in business for 5 years? Get that out of your head and go to the pro mindset, which is any client at any price point, as long as they're my first client, they come on board and actually get the experience. I don't care what I charge. I just want them to come on board and I want to get that experience. That's how the pro thinks when they're starting out. Russell Brunson says to work for free. Nick Robbins, again, who runs a multi six-figure per month agency, built that agency off of doing free trials, off of getting his foot in the door, off of hustling and just getting the experience. I cannot stress this enough. The pro realizes that small wins are big wins and that any client is good experience. As I always say to my coaching students, just take the next comfortable step. If you don't feel comfortable charging $2,000 a month, good. You shouldn't feel comfortable charging that much when you start out. Instead, bring it way down and charge $400 a month when you start out with $400 of ad spend. And you're basically just getting compensated for your time at that point. If you want to do a free trial, go for free trial. Just find what works for you, what you're comfortable with, what's just outside of your comfort zone. And guess what, guys? When you charge more, the client expects way more. So when you charge less, you deal with less expectations, you have a better experience with that client, and then eventually you can say, hey, things have been going well for 6 months now, how about we up this to $600 a month instead of $400? And they'll likely be very keen to do so because you've given them a good experience. All right, so now you've got that in your head, how do you actually get on the phone with people and start selling them? Well, the noob, what's he gonna do? He's gonna say, all I need to do is just do outreach, like cold calls, banging on the phone every single day, cold email, cold messaging, all this stuff. And he might have some success with that. What the pro is gonna do is he's gonna say, wait a minute, I wanna build a long-term business here. All of this is very important. You know, the cold calling, the cold messaging, the cold emailing, the prospecting is important, but I need a brand. I need something that people will come to me for. Just yesterday, I interviewed one of my clients who's been with me for a year now and asked him how he found us and why he ended up choosing my agency. And he actually signed up for a call a year before he ever became a client because he saw our Facebook ads, signed up for a call, and then it wasn't the right time for him. And then he just kept seeing us everywhere. And he said, you guys were relentless, and that's why I signed up. Now, he didn't say the word branding out loud, but that's exactly what he was talking about. We had gotten so deep into his skull that the minute it was time for him to start marketing and he knew he wanted to start working with a company, we were the right people to come to and the first people he thought of. So again, I'm not saying don't prospect. You should be pushing as hard as you can to get as many calls as you can through outbound prospecting, but you should also be focusing on building things like a social media following, a website, a YouTube channel, these things that will draw people to you. They'll find out about you. They'll book a call without you actually having to do anything on this end. Great, now let's talk about sales and onboarding. Once you start generating these calls from your brand and from your outbound prospecting, how are you going to actually convert them into a customer and then onboard them and get them ready to start running ads or build their website, whatever it is you're doing for them? Well, what the noob would do is once he gets somebody on the phone, he would use shady sales tactics and the latest thing he learned in a course to coerce somebody into becoming a client, promise them the world, and then be stuck trying to fulfill what he promised when he really doesn't know how to do it. The pros, on the other hand, realizes that he'd rather set good expectations with the client, and that way when the client gets a pretty good ROI, they're actually happy with it, instead of saying, hey, you promised me 50 to 1, why am I only getting 10 to 1? The other thing the pro does in this case is he provides value in excess before he actually gets on the call with the person. So when I was first starting out, I made this video about how to market for orthodontists. It was about 10 minutes long, and I would just find orthodontists on Facebook and I'd message them and say, hey, how's it going? I made this video, check it out, see what you think. And it was just a really good marketing training about how to grow their business. And I had multiple orthodontists watch it and say, wow, this is an incredible video. Why don't we work together? And then that's how I got like my first 5 clients, was by messaging people on Facebook that way. And you know what else was very cool is once they watched this video and they had already asked me, you know, can we start working together? I didn't really even have to sell them on the sales call. I just got on, set some expectations, and then we started working together. And I had a lot of really successful clients that stayed with me for a long time through that process. Now, what about onboarding? What does the noob do? What does the pro do? Well, the noob is gonna think, well, I can basically just set up everything to be automated. So once the client pays me, then they can, you know, just go ahead and fill out all these forms, add me to their Facebook business manager and do all this stuff. I don't even have to worry about it. And I'll be the first to tell you that does not work because I tried it. And there's been plenty of other people who have tried it as well. When people sign up for something, especially right now, they do not want just a million forms to fill out without anybody walking them through it. And that's why the pro, what he would do is realize that clients want somebody to hold their hands through the onboarding process so that they feel they're in capable hands and they get everything done in a timely manner. This really helps show the difference between you and a big bureaucratic agency that's just gonna send a bunch of forms over. No, you're going to be a high touch, very customer service oriented company that's going to help somebody through the process of getting onboarded in a very timely and effective manner. All right, awesome. Now that we've marketed to them, sold them, and onboarded them, what are we going to do now? We have to fulfill the result that we promised them. So what's the noob going to do in order to fulfill for his clients? Well, he's gonna go find a white label provider that he hasn't vetted. It's gonna just pick the first one that comes along that has a decent price. And he's going to say, cool, run these ads, and he's gonna, you know, go take a nap and not watch what the person actually does or what the contractor does with his client's ads. That is an absolute recipe for a disaster. Some people ask me, are you against white label providers? Are you against a contractor running ads? And I'm not, but what you need to understand is when you're a brand new business owner, you don't know what to look for in the person that's running your ads. You have no experience being a great media buyer or being a great Facebook advertiser or an SEO person or whatever it is. And so you don't know how to spot one when you talk to one. And that's why I recommend starting running your own ads, learning from somebody, having a consultant walk you through how to set everything up, thinking for yourself, seeing what works and what doesn't. And that's what the pro would do on this end. Or they would talk to somebody and say, hey, what's a good way to go about hiring a white label provider? What aspects should I look for? What should I do? And then no matter who they hire, they're going to watch them like a hawk and make sure that the work is actually getting done and the client is happy, the results are there. And one more thing when it comes to fulfillment, guys, the noob is going to think everybody wants Facebook ads. It's called SMMA. Therefore, everybody needs social media marketing, and it doesn't matter what niche I'm in, that's the best service to offer. That's not the case at all. What the pro would do is he'd go to his market, he would talk to them, he'd learn about their problems, he'd do the research, he'd do his due diligence, his market research, until he got to the point where he said, you know, I think Facebook ads really are the right service to offer to this industry. Or he might look at the industry he thought he was going into and, like my friend, realize that it's an endangered profession and he should probably choose a new niche. Or another thing that might happen is he could discover, you know, these people don't really need Facebook ads. What they really need is somebody to help them with their operations, or somebody to build good websites for them or do SEO for them. It doesn't matter what the service is. We're online agency owners. Agencies can do whatever they want. They can be very flexible. And so what you need to do is make sure that the service you're offering fits the industry that you're offering it to. Guys, I really hope this has been a helpful video. I really loved making it and highlighting the differences between this beginner mindset and this more advanced mindset. And you probably noticed that some of these are quite subtle, but I promise you that if you change your mindset just a little bit and you change the way you approach things just a little bit, those micro tweaks will make a huge difference down the line in your revenue, in your business, and how happy your customers are and the results you're able to get them. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you're interested in coaching, check out the link down below. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.